Okay, remember that they're changing my voice. In regards to this story, we must understand. We must understand that people are living their lives in a way that's wrong. I'm not blaming this person in this video for causing themselves to be killed. In this video, I'm not going to kind of talk about that aspect of this story one way or another. I'm not going to give my opinion on it. But I am going to say that society failed these people, all three of them. Now 2 are dead. 1 is headed for a long time behind bars, probably, the rest of their life. And they have a daughter who has no parents now. None. Because of a bunch of narcissistic people in all the political parties, all the cultures that you can think of. They encourage people relative to their culture to cheat me out of my right to lead. And as a result, people don't have a strong moral figure who's actually right with God. As I'm the only one who fits the description. To tell them, stop dressing in a way that inspires jealousy and anger. You see, Set, who is the enemy of Christ, the enemy of Horus, is a deity of chaos, confusion, rape, on and on and on, including rape by deception and jealousy. Her dressing that way, subconsciously and otherwise, inspired jealousy in her husband. And who taught her to do it? She came up with it herself? Perhaps she designed her own clothes. Perhaps she makes the laws that allow clothes like that to be sold, whether there should be laws like that or not. People should not be dressing like that in public. They should not be dressing like that on camera. Why? Think about it. Because it inspires lust, and it's a rape society. Rapists are so hell-bent to rape that sometimes people aren't even child molesters in their heart. They're just rapists. They rape little girls because that's what's available. Because they're so damn, desperate to satisfy that desire, that urge. So she was feeding into the process that is avoidable, it's preventable, that inspires people to rape in a society where people are treated unfairly, right? It's a dog-eat-dog society that has psychological consequences. It's a rat race that has psychological consequences. Good guys are thrown on the bus. That has psychological consequences. There's prolific rape scenes. That has psychological consequences. Porn is out of control, and a lot of rapists cite porn as to why they're rapists, and that has psychological consequences. I'm supposed to sit here brokenhearted when this stuff happens while no one gives a fuck, okay? And keep my mouth shut for political correctness? For a bunch of rapists who like it this way? Well, that's how we like it. We don't want them to see it your way, pal. Fuck that shit. That's not justice. That's not love. That's not loving your neighbor. That's not keeping the greatest commandment, which is loving God with all your heart. These people got killed because they were doing the wrong thing, because society taught them to do the wrong thing, even if they weren't cheating with each other. Why didn't you try to reconcile with your husband? If he was arguing with you about your dress, why didn't you change it? If he was arguing with you about whether you should have pretty boy guy friends, why didn't you get rid of that guy? That's your husband. That's just a guy you know. Because you listen to some satanic feminists who screen out the other feminists? Some corporate Cruella? Instead of God Almighty and I? People are suffering and dying, and you all think you should be narcissists. You think I should tiptoe through the tulips and say, no one's perfect. You think I should listen to a bunch of shallow Satanists who argue, don't judge. Because it starts with sound judgment. And then it continues to rebuke. And then it continues how it should continue, but you people won't do that because you don't believe in God enough. But it would continue to people rallying to me, and a powerful social force would start getting people to use their heads, and people would get killed and raped less, and beaten less, and drugged less. And I'm being shunned why this happens? Set, S-E-T backwards, is T-E-S. And when you add the H to his name, S-E-T-H, you get Heats, H-H-E-T-S instead of H-E-A-T-S, but that's part of the occult cut-up formula, right? Phonetic sounds. How does it sound when you spell it that way? It sounds like the word heat or heats. Heats up. So they're teasing the heat. Now where's the heat, right? Africa. Where's the heat? Arizona. Certain types of people, they're teasing more. Because when you live in a hotter place, right, you tend to be more sensitive than you live in a colder place, right? It has to do with the environment, right? The snow versus the desert and the savanna and the forest and the jungle and so on and so forth. Tease, cold-blooded. Cheat, see he at, see heat, see he cat. Some of you aren't ready for the occult cut-ups. You deny that person did anything wrong, the victim. You deny that the guy she was dating did something wrong. That's a married woman. They're having some kind of difficulty that they should have reconciled for their daughter. You now have a marriage and a daughter. Okay? That should come before your sexual needs. That should come before your way of thinking. Is it not adultery to get married and to start having another man in your home while you're still married? Were you having sex in front of your daughter too? He wasn't right to install the stalking equipment or whatever, but he wasn't wrong. What is this woman who dresses promiscuously doing around my daughter? Does he not have a right to know? So he was right and he was wrong. The moral law transcends the legal law. He was wrong for other reasons too. Why the hell did you marry her in the first place? Why did you have sex with her to the point where she got pregnant in the first place? Why is somebody who looks like a nerd dating like the hottest chick you've seen in your life, so to speak, in the first place? He's a TikTok star. The government's having a field day with this story. They love pissing people off so they can say, you are a fucking misogynistic person, man. And I don't like it, whether they're gay or not. They love saying things like that. That's why you can't get a date. Oh yeah, there's guys who beat their wives. There's serial killers. There's guys who hate women to the point where they beat them all the time. There's pimps that get dates, but that's why I can't get a date? So you're full of shit. And you're giving me a hard time for doing the right thing. Okay. You see why people like me should be allowed to get in people like that fucking face and say, now I'm in your motherfucking grill. And I'm right, you're wrong. What the fuck you gonna say? That's how society should be run. And not by some angry redneck Republican or some thug with no higher cause, with him who is the top martial artist because God set him apart. Who are you to say otherwise? You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You don't have the essential alpha essence to appreciate the presence of God and righteousness and justice. You live a fucking lie. I live in reality. You don't have rational and logical thought. You people are fucking crazy. Now, I don't say this to offend people. I say it to get them to use their heads. Feel defensive, great. Use your head. What I ask you is when you do not have a viable counterargument, will you continue to set the stage for women like that to get killed by an angry husband who's mad for pretty much a good reason? Because of the cultures you propound while you suppress mine. You're guilty of suppressing and quote unquote canceling my culture while you propound the cultures that get people raped and killed with no higher cause, living a shallow life, and you shamelessly do it. And you refuse to debate me on it. You refuse to discuss it. You refuse to stop suppressing my videos. If you're so right and I'm wrong, why are you suppressing my videos? While 9 million people starve to death. You murderers. You rapists. You liars. So if you don't know that I actually feel that way about it, you're not paying attention. I don't say that to insult people, okay? Other than the insults that God intends. I say that so you get it through your head that this is serious. There are people suffering, people being raped, okay? And I consider part of my duty to God. I even consider part of being a man to not stand for it. To stand for what is right and not what is wrong. Ver in virtue means man. If you think that I don't take being a man seriously, you're not paying attention. And whatever attractive females might overhear what I'm saying, great, good, lovely. Because they know. They should know my heart and my soul, and they should know that as a group they're wrong to shun me, and I fully expect to die single and heartbroken and betrayed. The universe, of course, God first and foremost, the universe, the righteous who are so precious to God, nature, I'll have sent this message firmly that I object to how I'm treated. I object to the sins that are going on. I have separated myself from it. I'm set apart as blameless. I've purified myself. I'm not in Babylon's system. I will have no part in what they are doing. I'd rather die right now the most miserable death than have even a speck of a part in what they are doing. I do not approve. I am a man of honor and dignity. Like I said in my song in 2015, I was and I am righteous with honor and splendor. I'm a man of God, and nothing can ever change that. Nothing.